what's up guys, welcome back to channel Everyday Carry for the Everyday Guy, and today we're going to be doing my review of the Streamlight TLR7A, my somewhat extended review. A lot of people have been waiting for this. I've had the TLR7A for quite a while now, put a ton of rounds through it, done a lot of training with it, and I think I've built up enough information about it to present a comprehensive review. I will take you through what's in the box towards the end of the video, because I find that sort of thing quite uninteresting when it comes to reviews. The thing with the TLR7A, I will be honest, from a reviewer and a content creator's perspective, it's not a light with many things to say about it. That's actually not right. There's a lot of things to say about it, but let me put it this way. I could review this light by saying, put it on your firearm, put the battery in, and it's going to work. That is the TLR7A in a nutshell. Now, there are a few more nuancical, if that's a word, things that I want to talk about, but I will tell you this: I have not had a single issue with my TLR7A. So from a reliability point of view, as expected from Streamlight, they're big players in the game, and pretty much every other reviewer has said this. The TLR7A runs. It does exactly what it says it's going to do in the box, and it doesn't skip a beat. Okay, now the 7A is the one that comes with the buttons that actually work. As far as I'm concerned, the original TLR7 was a nice light in terms of form factor, but the button placement and activation technique required was a huge oversight. So they've remedied that, but it could be better, and I'll allude to that later in the video. It's a 500 lumen weapon light. It has a runtime of an hour and a half. It's got around 5,500 candela, 150 meters of throw, IPX7 rated. Comes with a CR123A non-rechargeable battery. It does have Streamlight's 10 tap strobe function, where you tap the activation switch 9 times, hold it on the 9th time, and that can program in a strobe feature, which I never ever use. And obviously the flex version, which I have, comes with the high and low switch, which I'll show you a bit later on. Now, as I've said, I've run the light for quite a while. I've got quite a lot of rounds through it. Something I do want to allude to with any mini weapon mounted light, and I have, I have them all. Like every available miniature weapon mounted light that is available in South Africa, I pretty much have it. There is so much more that could be done with the on-off switches on compact weapon lights. So I would encourage anyone who runs a weapon mounted light to go to the range, practice their draw stroke presentation, activate the light, shoot, deactivate, do a reload, activate and shoot. It sounds simple, but a lot of people drill their draw strokes so scientifically perfectly that throwing in something as simple as activating a weapon light really sort of splits the differential a bit, right? It throws them out. So the first thing I do want to add is, if you are going to run a weapon mounted light, make sure you are putting in the prerequisite trigger time to ensure that you can activate and run the light as you would your firearm. I'm a huge fan of the reload one drill, whether it be with or without the weapon light. When it is with the weapon light and you are training it, I recommend drawing, activating single shot, deactivating light, doing the reload, activating single shot, deactivating. Obviously making sure you're doing it with good speed and accuracy. There's no point in being fast if you are super inaccurate, and it's not overly efficient to be really, really accurate but be really, really slow. So you've got to be able to do that, and do it quite well. And I encourage all of you, because I know there are a lot of people who don't do this, because for a long time I was one of them. You don't train to shoot whilst activating and deactivating your weapon light. And that'll take me to the next section. The TLR7A does have a momentary on. I will be honest, I don't think it's necessary on a weapon mounted light. I am not going to defeat my firing grip, my primary firing grip, by holding this on while I go onto the trigger. This firearm, guys, by the way, is empty and safe. So what I would do is more put it on, take the shot immediately, and put it off. All lights are momentary on. Just press the button, right? So it does a momentary on, but on a weapon mounted light, it becomes less usable, or not usable, less functional. Now in my testing, I have run all types of ammo through it. I put this Noble Tech 124 grain. I put my standard carry ammo, which is Winchester Ranger 127 grain plus P, and I tried this Blazer 115s, and it handled everything without a hiccup, as you would expect. Now, I do just want to add, holster-wise, a big problem with firearm lights, weapon lights in this country, is that a company produces a light and there's no holster for it. Southwest Holsters has a spectacular TLR7A holster, and they are, I'm going to be releasing the footage of the new Rattler V2, which I call the Unicorn holster, this coming Wednesday if you're watching it on date of release. Now, pros and cons. Let's talk about pros and cons. Okay, pros. One major pro is that it always works. It has worked without a hiccup. The form factor, I think it doesn't extend past the front of the slide. So it's got a really cool form factor, and that kind of makes it very comfortable to carry. There's no sharp edges on your holster when you're running it for the TLR7A. And to be fair, it's almost as comfortable as not running a light, so a non-light bearing holster. Holster technology and lights are getting so small these days that running a firearm with a weapon light, a compact weapon light, really isn't a problem. We're going to get to beam shots in a second, which is also one of my pros. I like the beam. I also like the flood. I like that it's got a front loading, so you remove this cap, front loading CR123A battery compartment. You don't have to take the firearm off the light. I like that it's a CR123A. If any weapon mounted light is not going to be rechargeable, I want it to be a CR123A, because I believe you get the most bang for your buck out of that particular battery. And then what I also like is the tactility of the on-off button. Listen to this. It's got a very tactile very tactile on-off switch. It's got an audible and a feelable click when you click it on. And you can run this with gloves, although most of the time people using gloves are going to be in law enforcement, that sort of thing. I would still recommend a rocker style on-off switch. And to be fair, I don't know why people who make compact weapon lights feel they can't put a rocker style like the TLR1 or the mod lights or the Surefire X300. I don't see why they can't put a rocker style switch on there, why they have to make the switches so small, because in my training, even up until this past Friday, there's still times when I go for a reload and I want to put the light off and I mispress it, right? Or I don't press it hard enough. I never find I do that with a bigger, either a bigger button or a rocker style, which is why I used to, and I still quite am a big fan of full-sized weapon lights, simply because the activation is easier. The thing with a weapon light is, A, it's got to go on when you want to activate it, but B, it's got to be easily activatable. And I find that manufacturers really miss a trick when they make a compact weapon-mounted light and they try to make the switches also ultra-compact. That is like making a trigger smaller on a firearm. It doesn't serve. You still want the most tactile, the most flickable, or the most pressable buttons. Just make the light smaller, the body of the light. I don't know. I feel like if Streamlight can put a different back end on the TLR7 to make it the TLR7A, hopefully they can put the back end on here to give it the rocker switches of the TLR1, which I would be all up for, because I think those are the best switches on any weapon-mounted light available. The rocker style switches. They're the most tactile, they're the most easy to use using gloves or not using gloves. And for me, they're the easiest to manipulate. Okay, now cons, that was one of them, the button press. I still sometimes mispress it. And mispressing a light switch or an activation switch on a light is not a good thing. And I first uncovered this when I was doing tactical casualty care. What is the other course? Medical emergency ground tactics up in Johannesburg. And we were doing some nighttime stuff where it was you and a buddy. Your buddy gets shot, you drag him away. It's at night. So you're activating the light with one hand sometimes. And there was a few times, now I was running a different light. I was running the PowerTac Mark Mini at that time. And the switches are very similar to the Streamlight's low switches, right? And there was a couple of times where I went to press it and I mispressed it. Having said that, the same thing has happened on the TLR7A. So it's not a con. It's something I could definitely train out with even more training, and if I really hyper concentrated on it. But it's something that could be improved upon, in my opinion. And then the thumb screw. So as a gear reviewer, I review gear. This little screw here, I wish the well into which the head of a screwdriver would go was a bit deeper, because it's really, really shallow, right? And for me, that reviews different lights on a almost, light's not great yet, on an almost monthly basis, taking it off, putting it on, that sort of thing, it does become a bit of a schlep, because you end up almost scraping away the sides of that head. So that's a small thing to complain about. Most people are going to put this light on their firearm and never take it off. However, there are people who only put the light on their firearm at night, and in the morning they carry their firearms, or when they go out in the day, carry their firearms without a light on it. This is not the light for you, because that thumb screw, while convenient, is a bit of a schlep to loosen and tighten, especially if you tighten it tightly. Some people have said that it's come loose under firing. I've not experienced that. Now, as we get into beam shots, I'm going to roll in some B-roll, and you'll see that the Streamlight TLR7A has a nice hot spot. It gives a reasonably good color rendition, and all my beam shots are going to be indoors. The reason for that is because I believe this is more of an indoor usage light. It's more of a close range light. It's not a thrower. Now, what I do want to draw your attention to is, if you have a look at the shots now, where I'm sort of looking through two doorways, I do like that it's able to light up all the way to the back of the room. So this is my kitchen looking into our living room, and you can see it's able to punch through the two doorways, that barrier, and reach into the light. And then from a different view, as you can see me sort of shining the light down our hallway, which is about 10 meters, and lighting up a figure, which is one of my girlfriend's fashion dummies. You can see it's able to break through those barriers and light up that figure, so you can see that ghostly white figure there. And then obviously I'll flip it around and show you exactly what it looks like when you're looking into the TLR7A from a distance of about 10 meters. Take into account my camera does compensate for excessive light, so it's not exactly what your eye would see, but I try to make it as similar as possible to what your eye sees. So in terms of light output, quality of output, color of light output, I do like that it's more of a white light, because white light is more disorientating for the person looking into it than softer colors like warmer lights. So they definitely hit the nail on the head with the color and the intensity of the light. I do think at 500 lumens, it's in around where it should be. And pretty much there's not much to compete with it. Olight have released the Balder S, which is 800 lumens. I haven't got my hands on that yet, but I'm very keen to see how that does. I will definitely be getting my hands on it for review. So that's going to be quite interesting. Single-handed manipulation, that's also a very, very important part of a weapon light. You need to be able to put the light on, put it off, and run it with one hand. If you are in the Force on Force training I did with the guys at Grill Finance and Kinetic Solutions, both parties very often got shot, even when we introduced movement, although movement did decrease the probability of getting shot by quite a bit. But you can run with left hand and right hand. The button press on either side isn't too intense. So single-handed manipulation definitely does run with a TLR7A. So in the box, you get the low switch, which I will never use, because I don't think it makes much sense. You get a Streamlight branded CR123A battery. You get a whole host of different methods of connecting the light to your firearm, different rails, your 1913s, your universals, those sort of things. Will fit pretty much any compact firearm. Get some stickers, that sort of thing, and you get a small instruction manual, and that's about it. Oh, you also get a little Allen wrench. for removing the different activation buttons. And that's about it. Price-wise, in South Africa, it's around 4.5. And I know people are thinking that's expensive, but I mean, Olight's in that range now, eh? Like, Olight is in Streamlight price range. So yeah, you got to make a call. I know, I'm not going to say it in this video which one it is, but I do know that there's probably only one Olight that can really compete with Streamlight. I don't think the Surefire XCX, which one is it? The compact Surefire Lite. I don't think it can really compete in terms of the amount of firearms it can go onto, as well as in terms of the output. The Surefire XC1, it's a bit of a dated light now. So if you asked me right now at this very moment, I would say the Streamlight TLR7A is probably the best compact weapon-mounted light on the market. It is the one I would go for if money wasn't a problem and if I had my choice of compact weapon-mounted lights. Like I said, I haven't gotten my hands on the 800 lumen Balder S, but I will be getting my hands on it shortly, and I will be putting it through its paces. So, guys, overarching feelings about the TLR7A, like I said at the beginning of this video, it's the kind of thing you can just put on your firearm and just forget. You never have to know it again. Oh, one more thing, just for the safety freaks out there, it does have this rotatable cap. Like a quarter turn sends it into lockout mode, and then just turning it down again. So if you quarter turn and then locking it again on. So if you're going to store it for whatever reason, or I don't know why, but yeah, it should either be in your holster or in your safe. In South Africa, we can't really travel that much with our firearms. But I suppose for overseas, if you're going to store it, you can lock it out so you don't get a negligent activation. This is not a light that you will negligently activate. It might be a light that you will not be able to deactivate on a whim, because those buttons are so small, and generally when you're deactivating a light, you're doing something. You're either doing a reload or you're moving. But when your light's on, you're shooting, and when your light's off, you're either moving or reloading or clearing a malfunction. That's the thing. You don't want your light on for any longer than you need your light on. And so while it doesn't happen often, it has happened as recently as this past Friday, where I've gone to deactivate it, missed the press, and then I end up running my light for while I'm doing a reload or something like that, which is not, it's not the end of the world, but it's not technically how it should be done. So I definitely feel there is room for Streamlight to throw on that rocker switch that they have on the TLR1 onto the TLR7A. I don't know, maybe there are other issues that would arise from that, but I think it would be really, really cool, and I'd definitely buy into that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Once again, thank you to the fine folks over at Parow Arms for making the range available to me. We're going to be seeing a ton more from the guys at Parow Arms. I hugely appreciate their assistance. Don't forget www.gunlicense.co.za. They are there to assist you with your firearm licensing process, so check them out if you need any further assistance. Guys, that is it. I will see you in the week. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos. On Wednesday, I'm releasing the video of the Unicorn holster from Southwest Holsters, the Rattler 2.0, so check that out. Have a good one, guys. Be safe. Train hard. Cheers. God bless.